Oh boy, and welcome back to another video. It has been a busy one today already, and it's only 9:30. Welcome back to another video, everyone. Alright, welcome back. Today morning, I got up pretty early. I was up and about already. Was in town getting all my parts that I needed for the day. Went to one store, got my one thing, went to another store, got my another thing. Was about to leave town. Oh shoot, I forgot to get the one thing for the one thing that I needed. So then I got stuck in town driving back and forth, getting who knows what all. But I'm finally here at the farm now. I got a message right about 8 o'clock that this pivot turned off. I started fertilizing it yesterday. So that's why I'm here now. I'm about to check out why the pivot turned off. I feel like someone turned off the electricity for it. I don't know why they would, because I was fertilizing here. That fertilizer pump was going. That well is now not running. There's a couple of wells that this panel box gives electricity to. Let me count here. There's one right there, two on the field over there, and then number 3 here, 4, 5, no, 4. I think 4 wells need electricity from that box, and then the pivot needs electricity. And I have more wells than 4 running. I believe I have 11 or 12 wells running. So there's water still coming out the pivot, but the pivot's not moving because someone decided to turn off my panel box. So that's why I'm kind of rushing here now, wondering who turned it off. And it looks like someone's here, so we're about to find out what exactly is going on so I can turn everything back on. So it turns out this guy is here fixing a short, because right there at the edge of our field we have a GPS tower for your typical John Deere GPS. So that was not working. Electric company was coming to fix it, or he was anyways out here yesterday wanting to fix it, and there was an underground short, so he hired a guy to come out here to fix it, and I was not aware of any of this. I turned on the pivot yesterday. Then today morning he comes out here and wants to fix his short, but it ties in directly to our panel box, so that's why half of my stuff turned off. So he is still going to be a while, so for now I'll just turn off the rest of the wells with my truck, and then I'll head back here later, probably around lunch sometime. I think this will also grab electricity from there, but I'm going to turn it off anyway. But I'll come back here after lunch and then return it on all over again. So yay, that should be fun. Just turned off the last well. Now I gotta quickly go to my brother. He is spraying and he needed my help real quick to see which way the wind is blowing right now, because any minute now the wind is supposed to change and we don't want to be killing the neighbor's cotton or anything. So I'll quickly head over there, make sure the wind is still blowing the right way, because any minute now the apps and everything show the wind is supposed to change here in a little bit, but you never can be too safe when it comes to spraying. So I'll head over that way, and then sometime today around lunch I'm going to be turning on a lot of fertilizer. So we're gonna start fertilizing all of our peanuts today. Right now my brother is spraying one last residual on the peanuts, and he's spraying 2,4-D on top of the peanuts. Yes, the 2,4-D does hurt the peanuts just a little bit, but right afterwards, well, we have to wait 24 hours before watering. So after the 24 hours, we'll turn on the pivots, water and fertilizer will always go on there. So they'll shoot right back up. It doesn't set them back too far. It works pretty good. So that's anyways on the agenda for today. I already brought fertilizer to all the tanks yesterday. So there was that. At least that's out of the way. I won't have to do as much hauling today, because that is very time consuming, because it takes roughly like 20 minutes just to fill up one nursing tank, and then it takes another 20 minutes to empty it out, so it gets very, very time consuming. Yeah, nope, that's not gonna work. Wind's blowing directly, well, not directly, it's blowing at an angle like that over the neighbor's cotton here, so definitely cannot finish spraying this field. You could finish spraying maybe the north half, but not the south half. Well, he was just out there in the middle of the field waiting and waiting, and I was here at the end of the field. He kept throwing up dust and dirt just to see if the wind would change. The wind did change a little bit. The wind changed, kind of going, we had a northwest wind, and then it changed to a north wind, and then we got a west wind for like a couple of seconds, and it changed right away. So he's gonna have to finish spraying this field another day, because right now it's not gonna work. The wind was going right, and he was spraying a little bit. He sprayed enough on that side of the field for that neighbor's cotton to not get hit with anything. And then he started spraying here, sprayed a little bit, and then the wind changed. So I guess just move it to the next field until the wind changes, and then back to this one. It's a lot of back and forth whenever you don't want to ruin neighbors' crops and everything, especially when they're so close together like this. But it is what it is. I'll head out here, let him do his thing, and I gotta go start turning on fertilizer pumps. Well, 5 minutes later, the wind really picked up. Now we got like 20-mile-an-hour wind. Not that way. Okay. Well, the first pivot that I gotta set up with fertilizer is this one, and I need this hose right here. I'm thinking this is gonna be too much. I just got about 10 feet of it, but we'll see how much I'll actually need. Man, it's windy. Sorry for the wind. Can't control it. But basically, I just need this is the fertilizer and these double cones here. It's gonna connect it to that banjo valve right there. Instead of coming through this motor, it's just gonna come straight through a filter. Pump here. This pump right here is gonna do 80 gallons an hour. And it's gonna pump it straight into the pot where this well brings water up. Water goes in here, and it'll shove, it'll mix with the water, and the water will go straight into the pivot and disperse it evenly across the field. So I just this hose wasn't quite long enough to connect there. That's how we did it last year too. So I just bought extra hose to put right in between here, because this was like this, and that was a little bit too short. So I bought extra hose to put in between there. Yeah, I think my brother's gonna call it in for spraying for today. I don't think it's spraying weather today. We got a dust storm and a slight breeze. Nice. I'm getting in my truck. Okay, that's enough for today. Can I just go home now? Well, anyways, I got this one hooked up now. I do believe my brother still has to finish spraying this field, or he already did. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to ask him about it. But anyways, I can't turn on this one just yet, but I did want to hook it up while I was here, because they did bring fertilizer in here. So I hooked up the fertilizer pump. That way this thing is ready to go. That way, as soon as it's time for me to turn on the pivot, this is already hooked up and ready. I don't have to tinker with stuff for a while now. So that's all working, ready to go. And then I think that other guy's gonna be done with that short soon, so I can go turn on that pivot again here in a little bit. And then after lunch, I gotta turn on 3 more pivots with fertilizer. I have to wait till after lunch for sure, because you sprayed those fields yesterday. And preferably I gotta wait 24 hours. And he sprayed them yesterday like at 2 or 3 o'clock or something like that. But if I think if I wait 20 hours, then I should be good. Wow, look at that. That's a lot of dust. That wind sure picked up pretty quick, didn't it? Yikes. Welcome to Texas, everyone. Ah, yes. Typical West Texas day. Turning into a beautiful, sunny, clear sky day. Just don't mind the dust. This is getting crazy. There's dust everywhere. This is getting a little out of hand. Might have to just suffer through a work day, I guess. Or what do you do at this point? Do you just call it a day and just work early tomorrow morning, or you hope for the wind to die down, or what do you do? I think what most farmers do, they just push through it and hopefully make the best of the day as what you can. And another fertilizer pump set up. And I'm sorry for this video, but you're just gonna get a lot of me talking in the cab because I can't show too much stuff outside because it's so incredibly windy. The audio is not the greatest, so hope y'all will still enjoy this video. But it's about that lunchtime. Gonna go eat some lunch real quick, and then I just got the phone call from the guy who's fixing that underground short. He said he just finished it, so while I'm on my way to lunch, I'll just hook on the four-wheeler trailer, load up the four-wheeler, head that way, and then once I'm done eating lunch, then I'll right away turn on that pivot again. And it's back up and running. Fertilizer going on the field. And now that both pivots have been turned on and all the wells have been turned on, slowly going to be pressuring up. Pivots are both going to have water all the way to the end, so they're right now I think they're going to have about 15 pounds of pressure in the lines, so they'll plenty of pressure. My brother is turning on the fertilizer pumps. He's going to get them going, make sure they're pumping the right amount that they're supposed to. And right now I'm going to open up all the tips, because if one of the nozzles on the sprinkler system is closed, then it kind of defeats the purpose of fertilizing, because the water carries the fertilizer from the pivot evenly across the pivot and waters it onto the field. If one of those nozzles is closed, no fertilizer is going out onto those peanuts, so then it's not even. So you have to make sure every single tip is open for sure. Sometimes it's okay if they're closed, but in this case, you definitely want to make sure that they're all spraying fine. They're definitely all open. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do now. And then after we're done turning on these two fields, we got a gasket here that we got to replace. This one goes in the center of one of the pivots, the riser pipe that goes up to the pivot, and then up there it turns. So this gasket here, it eventually wears off because the inner metal pipe coming up out of here turns and slowly wears this inside gasket here, and then water will start spraying out and you'll lose lots of water. So before we turn on the third pivot, we do have to fix that one. It shouldn't take that long, but you never know. Those riser pipes are always a pain to fix those gaskets, but we'll see how long it'll actually take us. I'm gonna hurry up and open tips and get to that third pivot. Well, is it just me, or do some of y'all also feel the pain, or it feels like you just wasted 15 minutes of your life when you walked from the end of the pivot to the pivot to check nozzles, and none of them are closed. I mean, is it a good thing? Yes. Yes, it is. But did I just walk all this way for nothing? Also, yes. Now I gotta walk back. And let me tell you, walking normally a quarter of a mile is very easy. It's not hard. But then when you walk in soft stuff like this, it can get quite tiring. Especially walking over listed beds, it can get quite tiring. And if you're wondering as far as damage goes, according to the 2,4-D that we sprayed, that's about all you see. Just a couple of specks on the leaves. You know, they still look healthy, they still look fine. That's about as much as they get set back. They'll slow down a little bit. But now with the fertilizer that's being pumped through the pivot, which we're doing about 15 gallons an acre, I'm not quite sure of the blend. All I know is that it has nitrogen in it. But with that 15 gallons being put on per acre, these peanuts will come back in no time. They'll be growing big and they'll be overlapping before you know it. Out with the old and in with the new. Well, we can't fix that other pivot today because we couldn't take the dresser off. So the only way to take it off was to sawzall it off and grind it off. So the dresser has been one of these. And we had another one in the shop, but it was the wrong one, wrong size. So we have to get a new one tomorrow morning. So we'll just turn the fertilizer and the water on tomorrow morning. But for now, here's the pivot that we turned on before that. I'm just gonna check up on this fertilizer pump, make sure that it's still pumping. So I'm gonna squeeze it here. I feel that there's pressure coming into that hose. So I just wanna make sure that there's still fertilizer going into the pivot. So that's my goal. Yeah, it's pumping, but it doesn't seem like it's pumping as much as what it could. I'm gonna also check here to see. It was right here at 6:15. It is now an hour and 15 minutes after that. So an hour 15, it's done. What is that? It's like 30 gallons. I'll have to do some math to make sure it's pumping right. But yeah, after I check up on this one, I'll check up on one more over there. And then that's gonna be it for me for today. And from this point forward, it's just bringing more fertilizer into these tanks, making sure that they're staying full, and making sure that these pumps are pumping as much as what they should. And then after we do one shot of fertilizer, then we don't fertilize more after that, because peanuts, they will make their own nitrogen. They have nodules on them, they'll make their own nitrogen, so you don't really need to fertilize them more after that. And after that, they shoot up and just start growing like crazy. So here in a week or two, they're going to be getting pretty wide already. They're going to be about a foot wide in about a week or two. So that's going to be very exciting, having very, very green fields. But as for now, I do appreciate y'all for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Two weeks later, they're a lot bigger and we're starting to have green fields.